Watchmen Episode 8 is out. Jeff Lowe, Robbie, KenJac. What the hell's going on with Watchmen? And more than ever is that the important question, because we were one episode left. That's it. This is almost done.
Yeah, but at the same time, like, I feel like this episode, we kind of figured out what the hell has been going on in Watchmen, so...
We did get a lot of questions.
A little bit. Did get a little more confusing, but I think that's mostly because of the introduction of Dr. Manhattan as a main character, because he always makes everything confusing.
Unbelievable.
His perception of time and everything, we knew it was going to be very, very confusing.
And we lived the episode through his perception of time. It was unreal.
They were very self-aware about that. They just kept being like, yes, we understand your perception of time is strange. Like,
Yes.
we get it.
Yeah, they get into the most confusing territory yet, I think, with this show, which is good. It works. If this had been like one of the first episodes, I think people might have bailed from the show. Because it is...
maybe.
It is very confusing. However, it's easy to understand when you just kind of talk it out and explain it quickly. But there are still a lot of unanswered questions, so we'll do our best to answer the unanswerable questions. I will say, though, tease ahead to the end for predictions, I don't think I have any. Just a heads up.
Very few.
I don't know how you could.
Yeah, it was the most vague next episode tease they've had yet.
Oh, yeah.
They were just, Lindelof's like, yeah, we're going to show you like 3 clips. Like, I'm sorry, you can...
Even the
Nice
after-credit scene. I don't know what the fuck was going
Post-credit
on.
was good,
We'll
though.
get to it later.
Yeah, we'll
like
talk. Off the top, though, I want to bring up one thing. Dr. Manhattan. The look of Dr. Manhattan. That's the hot topic. I land on it. I think when he's glowing, he looks pretty good, actually.
Yes, agreed.
I think glowing, he looks really good.
I was reverse.
Really?
Oh,
No, because
really?
I
I
think
thought
when
the
he's
glow
not
looked bad.
glowing, I think when he's not glowing, he looks weird as fuck.
I thought the glow was
Oh,
strange.
I thought he looked horrible when he wasn't glowing. It was the
first-
only thing about this episode, which is my favorite episode of the season.
By the way,
We'll talk
irrelevant.
about, but-
Irrelevant to the story. For me. He
Oh,
looks
yeah,
fine.
no, it didn't matter.
Doesn't
No, it
change
didn't
my
matter.
thoughts, but you got to talk about it.
And I was talking to Clem about this, and we were like, are we giving Lindelof too much credit? Because I was watching it, and I was like, man, he looks fucking horrible. And I was like, well, maybe that's the exact aesthetic that Lindelof wanted for him. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, he's a very confusing cat. I think the first scene where you see him start floating, when he they show him like come out of Cal's body and everything. When they first show him that and he's glowing, I was like, this looks really bad. I don't know how you make that look good, but I thought it looked really bad.
Because I
thought that looked good.
I thought the
that
glow
looked
was fine.
straight out of the comic too,
I
like
thought-
when he's like glowing in that position.
I just think the visual effects or whatever was very yikes.
Which is also weird because the visual effects have been awesome all
Yeah,
season.
so far.
And then there was just like everyone I feel like thought something was off with Cal.
The eyebrows looked a little bit weird. The eyebrows looked like they couldn't decide if they wanted to go all the way off or full eyebrows. And Yaha Abdul-Mateen actually tweeted a photo of him in the makeup, and it looked different than the makeup. It was just weird. It was a weird
Looked
mix.
like he was wearing a bald cap, which gave him like a weird
bigger
head
head.
shape.
Well,
it looks like Hot
it was like
Squidward
Martian
from SpongeBob.
Manhunters.
Yeah, very much like Hot Squidward.
Hot Squidward from SpongeBob. That's
No
basically
good.
what he was.
I think if you have a VFX budget like HBO, we know they have. I think they could have made him look better.
Bro, there was a fucking elephant in the last episode that looked amazing.
Yeah, that looked great.
Probably wasn't a real elephant.
I'm assuming it wasn't, yeah.
But I saw him glowing looked strange, but I also agree that I think him in makeup also looked weird. It's like that weird matte blue. I didn't particularly enjoy that.
That
either.
was a little bit strange too, but the matte blue, the way they shot it and framed it, the whole episode where you didn't really see the face, I thought like was sort of cool.
Because they don't really want you to see what Dr. Manhattan looks like. You see him very briefly as a blurred image behind Phillips and Crookshanks, and we'll get to that part of the story, obviously, if you're not sure what we're talking about. So you see him very briefly blurred, but you don't see him full-on original John Osterman Dr. Manhattan. So nothing that distracts from the story.
No,
I think it works out
not
fine.
at all.
Easter eggs, though. Everything blue that was possibly blue was prominent in this episode, especially music.
Yeah.
Yes, a lot of blue.
Rhapsody
I was waiting
in
for
Blue.
that. I'm blue. I'm a
Which came out before. This is set in 2009. Like the present day part of the episode, or excuse me, the main narrative part of the episode is a flashback to 2009, and we'll establish a little more time as we get along here and explain the episode. Rhapsody in Blue starts it off. Blue Danube, Mr. Blue, another song as well. That was one of the that was I think this Mr. Blue was used when he goes to Antarctica. So a lot of songs with the word blue in the title. Fun Easter egg. The music has been a key part of this entire series.
And they continue to knock it out of the park. Every musical cue in this show, better than the next. Shout out to Trent Reznor and whoever his partner is.
So well thought out.
Fantastic.
Yeah. Also, the last words in the Watchmen novel, which I should have pulled it up ahead of time, but the last words are, "I leave the fate entirely in your hands." Right? That's the last thing spoken. He actually says that at one point. He says that to Angela when she's about to stick the memory eraser thing.
Yeah.
I forget exactly what he called
And the
it.
CGI in that looked great too. When it was like
when
morphing
it
into
absorbs into his head,
Super
it's
cool.
so cool.
Yeah.
So, oh man, there you go. I leave it entirely in your hands. That is the last line of this last page here. Now we have the novel.
We got
the book.
We're smart now.
We have the
You have to
physical
believe
copy.
us.
Yeah. But he does make that reference. He says that, which is a nice little nod to the book. Most people picked up on that. Adrian Veidt was probably the most Easter egg heavy person in this episode. We see him in 2009 on Karnak, his lair on Antarctica. Which, if you watch the movie and you didn't read the book, you would actually recognize that as well.
Pretty similar to the one in the movie.
Yeah, pretty similar for all things considered.
Very similar. You see the vivarium, which is in ruins.
Destroyed.
He killed or poisoned the people who helped him set up the squid attack. Some of them were killed there. Some were also killed on a boat. One of them we'll get to in a minute, Mac Shea, related to fog dancing. So you see that. That's in shambles, kind of all fucked up. There's a squid rain scene. You see him actually
the portal.
enacting, the squids
Just
through the
flips
portal.
a switch, yeah.
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
He just
cephalopods or whatever he calls them. Yeah,
it didn't even make sense to me at first. I'm like, what are those big tanks behind? I'm like, oh god, he's got to every day. He's got to go in there. He's got to do the squid rain.
Make
Yep,
the
he's
cephalopods,
looking like he's watching over all the screens and figuring out like where he wants it to rain squid.
Yeah, what a pain in the ass that job is.
Like Taiwan, I think, on the scene we were looking at. And he's just like, yeah, why not?
Yeah,
Boop. and
it's
just-
like a weird version of the inserting the numbers from Lost.
Yes,
Who was doing it when he was
exactly.
gone?
Making that
Very
happen.
similar.
Who's doing it over the 10 years he's
Puts
gone?
it on autopilot.
Oh,
I guess he
shit.
can't because he clearly needs to do it.
I mean,
Maybe
does he
Lady
have-
Trieu. Lady Trieu
does he
took
have-
over his company. I don't know.
Does he have time to autopilot it though? Because he just goes right to Europa.
Maybe it is Lady True because
Might
we
be.
do,
Yeah,
we do
no,
get a
he
nod
didn't
to the
even pack a
elephant.
bag.
We'll get
a nod to the elephant later.
The Lady True connection was teased big time in this episode as well. All the clocks in his office are yellow.
Huh. Okay.
Look at that.
Watchmen.
Big yellow logo over there.
Do I have the right episode number? For
Yeah,
the
you did.
Mandalorian one, I didn't. I had to superimpose the right episode number.
And I watched it. You did really good CGI on that. It was
Crazy.
impressive. Yeah.
There's one part where I did wave my hand in front of it, and you can actually, my hand disappears, but whatever. This is right, episode 8. He references trying to destroy Dr. Manhattan and the intrinsic field generator. Which
subtractor for the killing scene. So the generator is what made him the subtractor. Was what they tried to kill him with.
So we saw him try to do that in the movie as well. So another thing that if you didn't read the book, you watched the movie, that scene should stick out to you. He does reference that.
They were pretty cordial about it.
Yeah.
They're
He's just
very
whatever.
okay.
They were just 30 years later. He's like, when
I think
was the last time I saw you? He's
Dr.
like,
Manhattan
when you tried
very
to kill me.
emotionless. Yeah.
Yeah.
Even in the movie, true.
And then he's showing him the device that will wipe his memory, that'll block his memory, rather, not wipe completely. And he says, I made it 30 years ago, which is a reference to when he enacts the squid and does the big world-ending event, which also this line, despite the fact the event is different in the movie, he does say the same line in the movie as he does in the book. He says, I did it 35 minutes ago.
Yep.
Because he has this whole thing like, who do you think I am? Or like, what do you think's going to go on here? You're not going to stop anything. Like, I already did it. The plan's in place, and he flips on, and you see Nixon, you see all the address and everything, and he's dropped the fucking squid, or in
And
the
that,
movie,
that was
basically
plan
blown it
A,
up.
which is the weird thing. I don't remember.
Yeah,
I didn't know
plan
that was a
A,
thing.
yeah.
He's like, the
For
actually
amnesia.
me destroying
Plan
you.
B was blowing
B
up.
for blowing you up.
Perfectly campy for
Yes.
Ozymandias.
Yeah. So very another cool reference to the book too. An exact word. I saw someone tweet. They said Adrian Veidt likes to play the hits. He likes to
Yes.
repeat the things.
And
he
I
said
also
in the book.
enjoyed that they showed you that like even Adrian Veidt gets one over on Dr. Manhattan every now and then when he had it in that box and he's like, you know what's in here? And he's like,
Made out of tachyons.
actually, I don't. Like,
Yeah.
he didn't understand. It was somehow blocking his brain function.
Tachyons, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is again a reference in the book as well. That's the thing that helps block Dr. Manhattan
Yep.
from seeing
Omnipotence,
things.
yeah.
Seeing through to the future, seeing just what's right there. As well, in the office of Adrian Veidt are his Ozymandias action figures.
Yep.
And those
Yeah.
are super comic accurate.
Yeah.
They look exactly like
him, yeah.
his actual character from the graphic novel. Pretty cool.
They
I
might
talked-
just be like officially licensed Watchmen.
Yeah, good
merchandise.
word, yeah.
Like, yeah.
The action figures from the movie are awesome though.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
he has the what's the really fancy toy line?
Hot Toys.
Hot toys. He has
Yeah.
like hot toys of all the Watchmen. It's pretty cool.
collector.
Again, you talked about the tachyon particles. They reference that again. And then Topher, the son of, well, I guess the adopted son, I think we know now,
Yeah.
of Cal and Angela, has the, what's Babastus? Is that the animal that Adrian Veidt has? It's like the
It's like a
The weird line.
The
cheetah,
lynx,
lion,
like-
the weird
lynx,
lynx, like genetic
yeah.
thing. Apparently, I was like, oh shit, we hadn't seen this yet. Apparently, we've seen this stuffed animal before.
Oh, really?
I
But
noticed
he's
it before,
holding
yeah.
it, and it looks.
I didn't catch it.
It's more of a cartoony-ish version of it. I guess people picked up on that. It's one of the few things we missed.
Interesting.
It's a bummer, but whatever. We're caught up now.
Yeah, fuck
now
it. If
now
Jeff's
we
not
see your
bringing it
Easter
up
egg.
on Pedopedia, I don't see it.
Now we see it. The bar they go into in Vietnam is Mr. Eddie's bar. The pregnant woman that Eddie Blake, the comedian, calls him Mr. Eddie at some point. This is a nod to the comedian.
Hopefully that's not the bar he actually killed her in.
Yeah,
They're just like, hey, let's
morbid,
name it after
yeah.
the guy that killed the pregnant lady in here.
A small little nod to the comedian storyline from the graphic novel and movie.
They should hate him there, no? They should really despise this guy.
They probably should. I mean,
One would
Angela
think.
seems to have, that hatred towards Dr. Manhattan because of the whole thing, so maybe.
Yeah. Nelson Gardner, Captain Metropolis, his mansion or his
Belongs to
his
Will, yeah.
brownstone. It's
Very
not a
nice
mansion,
place.
really. Whatever. It's in New York. It's a very nice place.
Yep.
We actually talked about that last week. The PDpedia files talked about how Will Reeves had to hand it down to him in the will of Captain Metropolis. So we see that actual mansion because we get a visit with Dr. Manhattan and Will Reeves.
I was under the impression he didn't like him at the end of the series. Because remember the last interaction
Yeah.
we had seen between Will Reeves and Captain Metropolis was Captain Metropolis just saying, yeah, fuck off, I'm not helping you. And, Will Reeves obviously being super pissed off. So I guess either fences
Loves a crazy
loves
thing.
danger.
Fences got mended, and
Yeah.
or Hooded Justice really gives that good dick. 'Cause he gifted his entire house to him.
Sci-Fi picked this one up. I did not notice this one. The Bible that Crookshanks and Phillips, the actual human versions that raised John Osterman, Dr. Manhattan when he's a kid, or look after him, the Bible they give him, it looks like Dave Gibbons' artwork from Watchmen. He is actually involved with the show,
Interesting.
the HBO
Oh,
show.
interesting. That's cool.
So they noted that it looks exactly like what you would see here, which is I did go back and look, pretty cool. Pretty cool little nod there.
I didn't even know Gibbons was involved. I'm glad.
Yeah.
All right. Well, fog dancing is another thing I want to get to. We'll talk about fog dancing because PDpedia, the obviously ancillary documents that old Dale Petey, we haven't seen in a while, uploads to the internet. He talks about fog dancing.
I want to see him again. He was great.
Yeah.
I think we're going to see him again.
I'd like to see him real quick in the last episode.
There's some
Tell us
cool
he's
stuff.
Lube Man. Come on, he's Lube Man.
There's some cool stuff to that
All
in
right,
PDpedia. Also, there was another cool thing. Our printer's not working, so I'll read it on my phone in a minute. But we'll get to that at the end. Episode 8. Let's get to the big thing off the top. Dr. Manhattan and his ability to shape and alter events and why he didn't just stop things from happening last night. The best way to explain it, and tell me if there's a better way to describe this, is he cannot alter the future because, as he says, he sees all time at once.
Yeah, it's like time exists. It's the thing where it's like you can't just change something because it already happened for him in the future. It's hard to wrap your brain around, and it's one of those things that
is.
if you think about it too hard, you'll give yourself a headache. But basically, what's happening in the world, what has happened, what is happening in the future, what's happening right now, it's all just going to happen.
Just watch the time explanation from Endgame. They figured it all out.
Yeah.
He does have that famous quote, which you mentioned last episode as well, to Marionette, I'm a puppet who can see the strings. There's no controlling for him. It's been controlled. Again, he experiences all time. That's why he can talk to Will Reeves in 2009 and Angela at the same time in 2019. So there is no changing events for him.
Yep.
And it's funny as he's not frustrated, but he's accepting of okay, you're going to go try to change this event to Angela. You can't. And she's like, oh, we did it. We stopped it. No, you didn't. This is what happens. And that's why when he explains to her in the bar everything she's about to say, she's like, I haven't told you that yet. Again, he experiences all time at once. That's why he can't change the future. Things already happen for him, and they will happen the same exact way.
He always seems weirdly confused at the events he influences. Even at the end when Angela kind of accidentally tells Will Reeves about Cyclops and Judd Crawford and all that, he's like, oh, he didn't know that? I wasn't aware. And at first I'm like, oh, what the fuck? Dr. Manhattan doesn't know what he's talking about. But then I'm like, oh, he does. He just doesn't understand that that's going to impact Angela in a negative way.
Yes.
Yep.
That is the part he doesn't understand.
Yep, exactly. So the main, I guess, way the episode is presented is that Dr. Manhattan, I guess, sees into his future, knows he's going to fall in love with Angela Abar, finds her at a bar on VV Day in Vietnam in 2009. It's the year is 2009 when the main storyline of the episode takes place.
Just about 10 years prior to where we have been in. I mean, the main story is pretty much real life storyline as well.
Yep, approaches her at a bar, predicts her every move, predicts the song that's going to come on. You're going to love this song. It's I forget this name of the song, but it's a Tunnel song.
Tunnel of Love.
Tunnel of Love,
right. So starts predicting all that, says, hey, I want you to go on a date with me. She's like, am I actually going to go to dinner? Yes, you will. She combats it, blah, blah, blah. All that's just kind of
hits in 20 minutes, you're going to tell me why you're at this bar. And she does hit it on the exact 20-minute mark, which was so cool. Fuck, I see what you're doing.
Timed out perfectly. So all the little details, but within those details, the broader thing is that we get to understand a little more of Dr. Manhattan, John Osterman's backstory. We see the English manner because he tells her that, actually right off the top, this is again, Lindelof, where people are like, oh man, is he going to leave it ambiguous? Is he not going to answer questions? Beginning of the episode, he just answered so many questions.
He answered pretty much every question that we had on this entire series.
About leading up to the current events, I think everything has been answered.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we don't know about the Lady Trieu, the Doomsday Clock and all that.
True,
but
yeah.
everything before that, we're good on.
I didn't know a lot of that backstory for John Osterman. Like, I didn't know he had fled Germany as a child from the Nazis.
I know.
By
I
the
didn't
way,
know that either.
his dad big time cucked by the Nazis. That sucks.
That does
That
suck.
really stinks.
yeah.
Big
With an
time.
SS soldier and his dad was a Jew. Tough.
Yep.
Yeah,
that's big time tough.
Very tough.
But yeah, didn't know a lot of that backstory. It's really cool to kind of get a visual representation of that.
We see why the English manor is on Europa. We see that he did create the paradise on Europa that we've seen Adrian Veidt living in for so long. We see the two fetuses, the two clones. He cloned Crookshanks and Phillips based off of two people that he first saw fucking. The first time he ever saw sex.
Accidentally, as a child, walked into a bedroom and watched people fuck.
Yeah,
and then they
pretty
were
creepy.
like,
And they were cool about it.
yeah, they're like, we lost a kid. Like, we had a kid. We lost our
Would've
kid
been your age,
very
yeah.
young. Like, do it. Like, make a promise for us. Create something for us one day.
Yes.
Little do they know. he's-
Also a weird thing like to tell a little kid that
Yeah.
just watched you try to
Yeah.
fuck.
I think
Right.
if I'm in that position, I just never talk to that kid again for the rest of my life.
Yeah,
Which-
especially they said it was the 30s and people didn't talk about sex back then.
Yeah.
Like they were like, we're doing something wonderful. It's happy. We're creating a life. And it's like, yeah, you're being perfect.
Not to
about
like, it didn't distract and didn't like make me I roll my eyes, but the hammer it over your head, like exposition and symbolism
Adam
of
Eve shit,
eating an
yeah.
apple.
Yep.
He's got an apple in the Bible, like create shit. And so he
Yep.
makes them his Adam and Eve. And they grow from that, and he builds all this crazy like paradise world, and he transports that manor basically right to Europa, and he's
yep.
told Angela that he's never been on Mars, and it's just like
It's like
a
a
hologram.
simulation or
Yeah.
something.
It's
Yeah.
like a thing for hope for all the people that really just need Dr. Manhattan back.
Yeah. He said there's like a few things that just play on loop.
Yep.
Which I can't answer. I can't answer this yet, and we're going to talk about the kid later on. But don't forget that her kid was building that fucking manor out of like these weird Lego metallic blocks in one episode. Don't I got nothing on that, but don't forget that.
Dick
I mean,
move if anyone is living
Lady
there, by the
Trieu
way.
knows at least what Dr. Manhattan's up to and that she knew it was Cal and whatnot. But I think she also knows she's got to have the best cameras on, quote unquote, Mars, seeing what he's doing. So maybe she just saw that. I don't know.
So this makes me think, too, the fact that he's been on Europa this whole time. I guess he was saying, save me, Dr. Manhattan. And maybe this whole universe or whatever
Or was
sphere.
he?
I don't know.
So this is what I
was
think.
he?
This is what I think. The sphere I think he created on Europa, I think maybe he can't see into. Like Dr. Manhattan's like, I created this as my own paradise. It's heaven, whatever. I don't want to be able to see what's going on there. So I think maybe he invented it in a way so that he can't be omnipotent in that sphere. And that's why, when they throw out Adrian Veidt, he comes out of that weird sort of like
It's
bubble.
like a portal
So you
type.
can't see
yeah,
it. So maybe that's why he was writing it there, because that's one thing
Maybe.
he is omnipotent of. He can see like what Voyager or whatever that
Maybe.
fucking spacecraft is looking at on Europa.
Our last audience question relates to that because it is an interesting question that is related to his existence there because he does go there. So we see that Angela and Dr. Manhattan, they really can't be together because it's just too much for her, right? Because he sees so much in the future and it's not working out the way he wants it to. He left Europa because he wasn't satisfied. He explains that eventually to Adrian Veidt, like they were just serving him, right?
Yeah.
His Adam and Eve were just serving him, and it wasn't satisfying to him. So he left after so many years. So he has to change. He has to be different, and the only way for them to really do it is, well, first off, he assumes the body of Calvin Giuliani, which we mentioned before. We saw that with the PDPD documents. He assumes a dead body that's going to be cremated, no next of kin, none of that. So he assumes that body, and then in that human body, he predicted a fight. He actually tells Angela in 2009 that we're going to fight in 6 months or something like that. That fight takes place. So back to what I was saying, now at that moment, they can't be together in that form.
That was a frustrating scene to watch. The
Yes,
fight scene,
it was.
because you were just like, she really can't stop this. She's really going to have to
like,
tell him to leave.
Do I have to say it? Yes.
Like,
She says
no
leave.
matter what, this is going to happen. That was super frustrating.
So
to
he
watch.
has to find a way to not be Dr. Manhattan, which is obviously very tough. So he visits a good friend of his, butt-ass naked. We see the big-ass dick.
Big-ass
It's not
dick. It
blue.
wasn't
Not blue, so
Sad.
not counting it.
But
Not
he's
counting
still,
it.
he was hanging dong.
Got to see that meaty dick at least once.
Yeah. Hanging
He
down.
He goes to Antarctica and he seeks the advice of a friend, Adrian Veidt, which it's funny knowing that 11/2 happens on 11/2. He's like, when's the last time I saw you? He said 24 years, 41 or 42 days ago. So he visits Adrian Veidt on December 13th, 2009. That's the exact date he visits him on. And we know from that whole exchange, because Adrian Veidt is like, I can help you out. I have this. The tachyon particles, it's that little thing that we saw Angela pull from Cal's head. If he puts it in his head, it blocks his ability to be Dr. Manhattan and to see things, except for reflexes, which is a key thing that he notes.
Yes, in life-threatening situations.
You may have that reflex to zap people and blow them up.
Yeah,
just
which
be
cool.
Dr. Manhattan.
Awesome.
Yeah. And clearly, Adrian Veidt is a very sad man.
Yes.
And not just like, you pathetic sad man. He's just sad. He's crying because he thought he changed the world. He sent that video to Robert Redford, and everyone basically said, go fuck yourself.
Yeah,
Yep.
and he's like, nobody knows. A few people know
Nobody
that I
knows
saved the world.
what I
Yeah.
did to save this entire goddamn planet from nuclear annihilation.
So Dr. Manhattan, this is another big confirmation, just sends him to Europa because he offers, like, I built the paradise.
You want to go there? And he's
Didn't
like,
work
that
for
sounds
me.
like paradise.
Yeah, he's like, yeah, I'm in. Which,
send
by
you.
the way, he does have a very funny quote. Adrian Veidt says to, at that point, I guess Cal, Dr. Manhattan, he's like, it's not the 80s, like this
Yeah.
His
look.
cultural
He's like,
appropriation.
You
this
going
is-
from a white person to a black person, this is problematic. Very funny. Real
Hysterical.
quick. Yeah.
Hysterical.
Again, Jeremy Irons. Golden Globe noms came out today. Zero
should've been
nominations for
something.
this show.
Should've been something.
Nothing at all for Regina King. Nothing for Jeremy
Insane.
Irons. Just
That's
a
wild.
fucking joke. Jeremy Irons is so good in this role. So he sends him off, and that's what we learned. We learned that as of now, he's not imprisoned.
Yeah.
He's just there. And so we'll get to.
He thought
went
it
there
would be
voluntarily,
paradise. He
yeah.
thought it would
Yeah.
be heaven, and now it has
He
become a prison.
kind of
for him.
realized what Dr. Manhattan realized while he was there, which is like,
Yeah.
it's not really heaven when they
Yes.
don't need you.
So we will get to that big encompassing moment at the end and his place on Europa. Angela is explained from Dr. Manhattan to Angela when they're meeting at the bar the first time that in 10 years there will be tragedy.
This will all end in tragedy.
This will all end in
Yes.
tragedy. Whether at that moment in the show we knew it would be something after having to smash his head in with a hammer or not, I didn't realize that wasn't a tragedy. That's just him being woken up. So she wakes up Dr. Manhattan. Now we're back to the point of the end of the last episode. She pulls it out, pulls out the little thingy. He's big, blue, glowy Dr. Manhattan. Well, sometimes glowy, sometimes weird makeup. Hot Squidward again. So Dr. Manhattan, he's a little confused, a little off, not
Yeah.
quite all there, trying to figure
Starts
things
walking
out.
on the pool.
Yep.
Yeah, walks in
You
the
gotta
pool.
notice that, yeah.
Teleports to the kids, sees their kids, their adopted kids, zaps them away, puts
Yep.
them somewhere safe. Great, good dad.
By the way, we
I
discovered that they're
guess.
adopted from Tulsa. I think we were under the assumption that they adopted them in Vietnam, but they adopted them while in Tulsa.
They are adopted in Tulsa. We know nothing else other than that, though. I
Yeah.
don't know if it's
something's going to happen with that.
Something has to. Yeah,
With the kids?
Yeah.
Because remember, there was that guy. Remember that older man who had some sort of connection to them
Yeah.
that showed up?
I thought that was her
he
divorced
showed up,
husband or
yeah.
something. Yeah.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
that's not been addressed yet.
Huh.
I don't know. Oh, and we know where he went. The kids got sent to Will Reeves.
Yeah.
The kids
Oh
were
yeah,
with the
he's-
grandfather.
at the theater.
Yep.
Yep. So teleports the kids to safety. He's kind of walking around. We figure out that he actually saved her from the White Knight. When the 7th Cavalry is going to shoot her, his reflexes, as Adrian Veidt teased 10 years before, like your reflexes might overtake the little thing in your head. He's zapped the shit out of the 7th Cavalry.
him up.
Saved him.
We knew there was something up with that. There was multiple members
Mm-hmm.
in there. She got shot. She was vulnerable. Someone had to save her. So it was nice to get that finally.
So he's on the pool, standing on the water. We've seen him walk on water earlier in the episode. She mentions, like, you can walk on water? So he's walking on water again, and she says a great line, get the fuck up off the pool. Which is awesome.
Hysterical.
Fucking cursing
She
out
ain't
Dr.
impressed
Manhattan.
by this Dr. Manhattan
So
shit.
good.
He says, Dr. Manhattan says
You
to
need to see
Angela,
me.
you need to see me here.
It's important for later.
That's it. I got nothing on that.
I think that, so they made a very big point to reference earlier in this when he makes the primordial soup, right? That he
Yep.
pulls Crookshanks and, what's the other one's name again?
Phillips.
Phillips and Crookshanks, the primordial soup that he walks on that water too, remember? That pond? And he's
Yeah.
like, this is where I made them. So, and he's saying, like, now you got to look at this. I'm walking on this pool. I think it's going to be something similar. Maybe he's not creating life there, but I think it's going to be something involving his powers,
I
like
have a
transfer of
theory.
powers, because they reference that too.
I have a theory that he's going to die at some point. He's going to be shot and killed. I don't know how you kill Dr. Manhattan. He's gonna die, and he's gonna be fucking face down in the pool floating. And that'll be, he's dead because he's not walking. It's kind of like when Iron Man's little thing
He
went
sinks.
off. Spoilers, R.I.P. my dog.
Okay,
Tony
I like
Stark.
that. He sinks. Okay.
Yeah, something like that. I don't know. Maybe.
I haven't seen that one. I like that. Okay. That's a theory because I don't have any really. Then there's a big moment. We see that Will Reeves is meeting with Dr. Manhattan because Dr. Manhattan tells Adrian Veidt there's like one more thing he has to do. Adrian Veidt's like, before I put this in your head, you better clear shit up.
Yeah.
And the beauty of being Dr. Manhattan is you can be multiple places at once.
He's like, cool, do it right now.
He shows up to Will Reeves' door, the mansion, the Cap Metropolis place that was handed down to him, and he talks to him about his granddaughter. He basically tells Will Reeves all about his granddaughter. I'm Dr. Manhattan, all this shit. updates him, and as he's doing that, in the present, in 2019, again, this is where it gets a little confusing, you got to really grasp the idea that he can be in many places at once. She communicates through Dr. Manhattan to Will Reeves asking, what does he know about Judd Crawford? How did he know he was cavalry? And this is the fucking crazy moment
Cyclops
of the episode.
even, which is more important
Cyclops,
to him.
yes. How did you know Judd Crawford was Cyclops? How did you know about the KKK suit? And Will Reeves is like, what? Who's Judd Crawford?
He's like, I don't know.
She has this moment. She's like, what? What do you mean he doesn't know? And that's when you said Dr. Manhattan's like, I'm confused.
Yeah.
Like, what is this? And she's like, shit, did I send him here? Did I send
just
my
do this?
grandfather
Yep.
to Tulsa to kill Judd Crawford?
She did it Back to the Future.
And he
Can't
brings
do that.
chicken or the egg.
Yep.
Is this the chicken and the egg moment? Like,
A lot
what
of eggs
came
in this
first?
episode too. We talked about
Tons
eggs in that one
of eggs.
episode.
Eggs, very
a lot of eggs
Tons of
here.
eggs.
Chicken and the egg moment. What came first? The paradox. And he says the answer appears to be both at the exact same time, which is a complete mindfuck. I will actually say that's the biggest mindfuck moment of this entire series.
Answering that philosophical
It honestly
question.
was, and the only way I could describe it is the way that Werner Herzog describes Baby Yoda. It was heartbreakingly beautiful.
It was a tragedy to look at.
It really was, though. This was like your heart sinks and you're like, oh my God, she started everything. Did she? It's the chicken or the egg.
Yep.
You can't stop anything from happening. What's happening in my own life? It was, yeah.
It's just like this circle of,
Predetermined
again,
fate,
it's a
yeah.
chicken or the egg. Like, he's like, fuck, nothing came first. They both came first,
At the
which
same
is
time.
nuts. You know they're going to get more into
I
it.
also got to stop smoking weed before I watch
Oh,
Watchmen,
no,
because
God,
this almost
no.
gave me a fucking panic
This-
attack.
Can't do that.
I'll tell you, of all the Lindelofy things, this was the one where, he was like, let's go. When he wrote
Chicken and
this-
the egg, baby.
There it
Let's
is.
do it.
It's like him throwing a grenade in a room and being like, Claire.
Let's see what happens.
Yes. We'll get back to eggs because eggs is something that's very big, and there's some theories that people have about eggs and its relevance to how Dr. Manhattan lives on, and et cetera, if he does in fact die or explode in the next episode. And then after that, Angela's like, fuck this, I'm going to save you. Little does she know.
Another heartbreaking moment when he's
Yeah.
like, this is the moment. And she's like, what are you talking about? And he's like, this is the moment that I fell in love with you. She's like, what is that? Supposed to be romantic? 10 years with me and you just fell in love?
me now.
And he's just, he's like, no, you don't understand the timeline.
Time works
Come on.
differently. She's like,
Time,
yes,
man.
I know.
Yeah.
She keeps saying, I love how self-aware they are with that. Where
I
it's
know,
just
yeah.
like, yes, we understand.
Which
we
Veidt says
perceive
that
time
too.
differently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like, yes, I
All the
remember
people
Yeah,
that
we
have been
get
around him are
it.
fucking
We
sick
get
of
it. Because like I feel like even what we as an audience watching Watchmen, the
Yes.
movie,
We're
we're
like,
like,
yeah,
we
yeah,
fucking
we
get
know,
it.
we know.
You know what I really like, by the way, with this, before I forget about it, is the way that they kept phrasing like all of Dr. Manhattan's dialogue was very comic booky and very loyal to that.
Yes.
Because he kept saying like, it's 1979, I'm here, I'm doing this, which sounded just
Yeah.
like how he talked in the actual movie.
Yeah.
Which is very cool.
Which he's aware too. He's
Yeah.
like, you will be frustrated with me.
Yeah.
He's like, you're going to be so sick of me fucking
Yep.
saying this stuff. And then she goes and starts just shooting the hell out of the cavalry as much as possible. I thought at one point the truck stops, like she's going to go try to mow them all down. She's cornered. The door rips open. I thought the Rorschach, the 7th Cavalry member, was going to be Looking Glass. It was not. It was not
No,
him. We've
it
not
Nope,
seen him
head
yet.
got blown up.
We know
so
he's
if
still
it was,
around.
that sucks.
I really do think he's with Laurie in the mall.
I do too.
Yeah, me too.
So Dr. Manhattan's there, saves the day, fucking blue zaps everybody.
Starts
So sick.
exploding heads.
Loved it.
Just
Yeah.
heads start.
Which that is...
Maybe that's where the whole CGI budget went.
I mean, guys, he made a Rorschach explode. He basically did what happens in the
Did the
comics.
same thing.
Real much different.
Although not a
Rorschach.
full body explosion, just the head, which
True.
I actually kind of like even more.
Yeah.
It's pretty sick.
And then she thinks that they've saved everything. Little does she know, they haven't, because he gets teleported through this big fucking zapper thing, because there's one guy still alive.
Tachyon beam or something they
Some
call
kind
it.
of 7th Cavalry warthog.
They
He-
said Tachyon something.
He
I forget what
knows
it
they're
is, yeah.
going to forcibly teleport him and then try to kill
Yeah,
him.
he's
which-
about to die.
And give
We
his
know
powers
that.
to Keen.
Which we know that the 7th Cavalry's intention, or excuse me, not the 7th Cavalry, Cyclops'
Cyclops,
intention,
yeah.
because 7th Cavalry's a pawn at this point, we understand. Senator Keen wants to become the new Dr. Manhattan. Pretty nuts. Also, I've seen people say maybe like red Dr. Manhattan or something, because like we saw the beam is red, Cyclops is red.
Interesting.
So people kind of noted that a
That'd
little
be kinda
bit.
sick.
Be cool.
Again, nutso. That is the end of the episode, basically. We do see a quick moment of her accepting going to dinner with him. She says, like, fuck it, I'll go. And then the credits roll for a while.
Yep.
All right, fine, whatever. At that point, my only real big confusion was the chicken and the egg thing, but I think that's on purpose.
Totally.
Yeah.
Until they show Adrian Veidt. Because there's a post-credit scene, which I like the way they did it. Very, again, comic booky. They set it up. Adrian Veidt is having tomatoes smushed on his face.
The weirdest.
So weird, and you hear it
smush
before
a
you see it.
tomato
too,
on
so
my
you're like,
face.
what's going on?
The tomato tree, which you mentioned a
Yep.
while back, that was like one of the first clues they're not on Earth, the tomato tree. They want him to stay. He's not going to stay. He gets thrown in jail. He's reading a book. He's reading Fog Dancing, which is a a big reference in PDP. It's going to be the last thing we talk about here before we get to audience questions. Also, we mentioned earlier on, I wanted to save this for now. He knew that Dr. Manhattan was on Europa.
Yep.
Adrian Veidt said, a little elephant told me.
Yep.
That's not even masked as anything. That's just saying Lady Trieu.
Lady
Because we
Trieu
saw the
literally
elephants.
told you.
Yes.
So I don't know what... I would imagine Dr. Manhattan's aware of Lady Trieu. I don't know if he talks to Lady Trieu at some point. Regardless, the Lady Trieu Adrian Veidt connection is as strong as ever. Mm-hmm. I don't know if it's daughter. I don't know if they've just had some sort of other family bond, but...
Something had to have been in place between them before he went to Europa.
So before
Yes.
2009, there is that awareness of Europa.
Of course.
They know. Again, that's also, there's cameras there around Europa. We assume it's True Tech, all that. He's been stranded there, as we mentioned before, not on purpose. Not against his will. He went. But at this point, he's kind of fucked. Because
hates it.
Dr. Manhattan doesn't remember. Dr. Manhattan's not Dr. Manhattan anymore.
Yeah.
For these
No
10
idea.
years, he's just...
Being Cal.
He's Cal. He doesn't have that memory. He got sent there, and then Dr. Manhattan just changed. We also see the game warden. The game warden approaches him in the cell. Interesting that the game warden is really just Phillips. It's
Yep.
it's the Atom. It's the first person that Dr. Manhattan created years ago on Europa. And I've seen other people mention this is not an original thought, but makes complete sense, that the game warden has a mask because he experienced trauma, which again, this is all these things. People with trauma end up becoming
Dr.
vigilantes.
Manhattan left him, yeah.
The game warden is not some big thing created by Dr. Manhattan.
No.
He's just a guy that experienced the trauma of his maker, Dr. Manhattan, leaving him, and he became a mass vigilante.
Grew a
That's
mustache, became a vigilante.
That's basically what it is, which is fucking awesome.
Great.
Grin.
Great
That's-
line as he leaves. You can enjoy your fucking cake. Great line.
He has the cake.
Yep.
This is where it gets really confusing. He's reading Fog Dancing. He has the cake. 7 candles, by the way. So that would indicate 2009.
What a brutal 7 years.
So 2009, so 2010, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. This is 2016. We are currently seeing him at the end scene in 2016, December 2016. So about to be 2017. We know the show takes place in 2019. So we're what? We're about 3 years away. 3 years away from the current timeline of the show. So we're still a ways off from that. He gets his cake, normal cake like we always see. And in the first episode, he was offered a horseshoe.
Yep.
And he was like, no, not
He's
now.
like, yeah, not now. I don't want it
You
now.
fucking moron.
Yeah.
Not yet.
Very
Been here-
pissed at
been
Phillips
here-
over that.
I've been here a year.
Yeah.
He has the horseshoe and he's going crazy. He's like, yes, finally, like I have it. And he starts scraping away at the ground with
Weird,
the horseshoe.
yeah.
No idea what the fuck he's doing.
I don't fucking know, man.
Is he
Yeah.
digging out?
Can't put it together.
He
like-
can't be digging. Like, he can't
It wouldn't make
out
sense.
the horseshoe.
It wouldn't make sense at all. And they wanted him to cut the cake with the horseshoe too. No,
That
Isn't
is,
seen in
they did, yeah. I can't cut a cake with a horseshoe. Like they didn't understand it.
Cut anything with it?
And
I
rem-
don't know what it is.
And remember, the clones begin to develop more over time too. So I think those clones were obviously pretty fucking
Yes.
close to brain dead. They're like, oh, here you go. Okay. The first audience question has to do with the horseshoe, but I want to note Fog Dancing real quick. PDpedia has a memo on Fog Dancing,
Okay.
which is a book. Max Shea. We've seen it throughout the movie, or excuse me, throughout the series. It was a movie at one point. It was adapted by David Cronenberg. Adapted the movie
King.
in the series. Yeah, we see the female Clark, like the Clark Kent
Yep.
family
Yep.
at the farm that Lady Trieu buys. We see her reading that book actually.
Okay.
She's reading Fog Dancing, and so this is what the memo from Petey says. Most people had to read Max Shea's Fog Dancing in college. Some actually think they understand it. In the mid-'80s, Max Shea disappeared along with several other notable avant-garde artists, including the grandfather of J.T. March III, who prior to driving me crazy with American Hero Story, produced an award-winning remix of Fog Dancing. Some believe Shea was silenced by the Nixon Ford regime. Others, including extremists like the 7th Cavalry, because again, they have the Rorschach Journal. They know what happened. Believe the convoluted conspiracy theory spun by New Frontiersman editor Hector Godfrey that 11-2 was a hoax and that Shea vanished, which is what happened,
Yep.
or he was killed to hide his involvement of
Jimmy
it.
Hoffa.
Yep.
Interesting.
So he talks in this thing about how he found Fog Dancing in Tillman's bunker, Looking Glass's bunker, Wade
Yeah.
Tillman's bunker. He mentioned he finds the book, and it's a look back. It's a long read. He has this whole summary of it. It's a long read based off something that was created following Vietnam, VV Day, following people who fought alongside Dr. Manhattan, the comedian, all those demons, and a lot of it has to do with becoming heroes. And excuse me, I'm gonna go to the phone quick because again our printer's not working. But here is something in this summary of Fog Dancing that PD wrote for some sort of contest.
Okay.
And he's really bitter in this memo that he didn't win. He got 15th out of 15. He's like, they didn't like my understanding of it. Here's a Here's a line from this summary. The canisters of toxins, the animals with weird boils, all charred bodies who can still breathe and talk. See him now in your mind's eye, moving through boiling clouds of sunset haze, wearing his gas mask and a skin-tight silver suit shimmering with SPF 666, looking slick and doing what must be done in secret to keep you and me and all of us free. So again, this is a story. A lot of it, people interpret it different ways. A lot of it has to do with masked heroes. Again, let me read this. Skins tight, silver suit. Sounds like PD is Lube Man.
Lube Man.
Big time Lube Man.
It's been
right
teased
there.
that Lube Man is not really going to be revealed. It's kind of like a side thing.
I wouldn't be shocked.
But that basically...
For one scene from like 2 episodes ago.
It also seemed pretty, like, even in the moment, we were like, all right, that's PD.
Yeah, that basically confirms that PD is Lube Man. Now, one more interesting thing. This note, which is September 2019, so I guess this takes place around there. It says, in the beginning of this document, the morning after the calamity in Greenwood, the dust has settled, but our nerves have not. Martial law remains in effect throughout the city as hazmat teams continue to collect the remains of unidentified subjects number 1 and 2. The conspicuous absence of blank and blank. They're blacked out. Give us an indication as to the identities of the remains, but given their condition, DNA testing will be required, while the other corpses are intact and once removed from the wreckage should be more readily identified. One of them may be Agent Blake. So this is like an event. I don't know. We have no idea what the fuck this event is.
All redacted.
Redacted is
This
huge.
is something future, but he does mention fog dancing. It's a big part. Adrian Veidt. He does mention, PD does, that Adrian Veidt loved the book. Dr. Manhattan loved the book. He quotes it all the time. So a very relevant piece of source material that I'm sure is going to come up again in this last episode. Let's get to audience questions. A couple big ones here. First up, what's Veidt doing with the horseshoe? But also branching off that, I don't know what he's doing with the horseshoe.
Can't figure it out. I don't think he's digging his way out, and we know he kept mentioning that he can't use
Was
his
he the
knife.
one to crash land on the farm? I think yes.
Yeah.
Do we know when that happened timeline-wise or no?
I'm going to do a live Google.
Well, for what?
I want to see how long it takes a rocket to get from here to
Okay,
Jupiter.
why don't you look that up? So look up how long it takes the rocket.
Oh, if it takes like 3 years or
Here's
something,
the
you're
thing. Here's the thing. Lady Trieu, obviously very aware of Europa.
saying? Yep.
Okay.
So it says 6 years. Maybe
but-
we can give Ozymandias a 3-year gap.
But with
to
True
get back.
Tech,
Yeah.
but with True
yeah,
Tech,
yeah.
Tech.
you can do. I mean, we can teleport
Yeah.
too. I feel like it could take place even quicker. But
Oh, well, this is talking about the Galileo spacecraft, which is from the 80s. So, I mean,
fuck
we've had
that thing.
updated
Fuck that thing.
tech.
Come
We got
on.
updated tech.
Galileo.
so he mentions that. Well, he implies that Lady Trieu knew about Europa, all that. So we know that she's aware to an extent. When she's on the farm and she's trying to buy that farm, there's a hourglass.
Okay.
The time is ticking. She's telling this family, like, you have X amount
yeah.
of time.
Yeah, was it? There's 30 seconds or a minute?
Yeah, you need to
she was
fucking
going to
tell me
destroy
now.
the baby.
Yeah, because putting them up against the clock. But by the way, the hourglass is elephants all over it.
Yep.
If you go back. Right when the timer goes off, basically, and she buys the farm, the meteor hits.
Yes.
Or the ship hits.
Oh, so you think maybe she knew when
She
that
is
was... Yeah,
super aware.
Right,
There's
time of noon,
there's
yeah.
no... Which I think we could kind of guess when we first saw it, but now it's more clear to me than ever that she knew the timing. She put them on the clock, not because she's a shrewd businesswoman, and she's like, this is my... Like some Wolf of Wall Street shit. She's like, timing people on decisions that makes them answer. No, she knew she had to buy the farm before that
Yes.
rocket hit.
Maybe Save Me Daughter?
That's what. So again,
Maybe Save Me
I
Daughter.
do think it could be Save Me Daughter. I think that what could be Adrian Veidt is spelling out there. She knew the timing. The timing was pretty fucking exact.
Yeah.
I think that's a very big key to this.
Yeah.
The timing of her buying that farm was no coincidence. At JP Smith 24 says, I think Manhattan put his powers
Oh, yeah,
in
that's what I
water
was
in the
talking
pool, which I think we were talking about. Maybe he put his powers in the pool. Also, did he transfer to the egg?
I think
Because
that's more likely.
Because
Yeah.
he said he could transfer powers. He said, I wouldn't do it without consent, but yes, theoretically, he tells Angela back in 2009, I could give someone my powers.
He could put his powers into an egg, you eat the
Maybe
egg.
he was trying to
Your
put him in the
document
pancakes that Angela stopped him from making.
He's been making his kids fucking food for years.
has. Interesting.
Years.
But he said he would never do it without consent.
True.
That was
Yes.
very, very specific.
But
But someone's getting this Dr. Manhattan shit, and
Oh,
it's
for
not
sure.
just
It's
Senator
not gonna be
Keene.
Keene.
he
Yeah.
still has his powers, though, even
Yeah.
when he's Calais bar. He just
Yeah.
isn't aware of it.
Yeah.
So he's putting, his kids have been eating that food. He put it in the pool.
But he
his
can't-
powers are somewhere.
But he can't use it without being in fight or flight, which I don't know if he's in fight or flight while making his kids'
No,
food.
I
Which
don't
we didn't
think
even
so.
though he was making waffles.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
He was trying to. She smashed all the damn
Yeah.
eggs.
and he probably had to make
Hilarious
eggs to
when
finish
he
the
was like,
waffles.
I'm hungry, and she walks in and there's just like things
Floating
and,
around,
like,
yeah.
things pouring.
I'm making waffles. At John BJ14, seeing the tech in action, this John thinks all but confirmed Trieu is providing support for the 7th Cavalry.
Well, I mean, we saw the True Tech and the 7th Cavalry and Cyclops were using.
Shit? I don't know.
Yeah.
Yep. At Ham12EL, how did Will Reeves and Lady Trieu link up? I don't know, but that is a very big gap in what we know.
I have a feeling we'll figure that out next week.
So this is part of, I think, the plot. Manhattan says he talks to Will Reeves for a long time, right? He says, like, we planned this all out 10 years ago. Presumably, part of that plan is going to be Will Reeves, like, getting to know Lady Trieu and sort of influencing her behind the scenes.
Yep.
And she's aware of Europa. He's going to tell her, like, so it's all kind of intertwined, but that is, I think, a big gap. I don't have an answer for that one. I don't know, but I think that probably links everything together. That's like the one big question where it all start to make sense.
Yep.
And the story can really move to its final, coming up to a head. Finally, at VolLover69, no, go Vols, does Ozymandias know that Dr. Manhattan forgot about him? This is, I think, a very intriguing question.
Definitely not,
Yeah,
right?
I don't think so.
How could he?
I will say, though, Adrian Veidt does sometimes have a step up on Dr. Manhattan.
Oh, wait. No, yes, he does. Well, he has to, because he gives him the thing to put in his forehead.
Does he think he was put there on purpose?
No, I don't think so.
But do you think he realizes it at the time?
Oh,
Do you
I don't
think
know.
that it's a negative thing? Does he view Dr. Manhattan in a negative light?
No, I don't think so.
I
don't think so. I think, now that you're saying that, I think he's just like, God damn it, why did he put that thing in his forehead right before he did this?
Right before he came
I think
all
he's
the way
almost
here,
mad at himself.
stranded
and mad at the
forever.
world.
Because that alters the question of save me D. Is it save me Dr. Manhattan? Like, you motherfucker, you forgot.
I know, yeah. Could be.
But did Dr. Manhattan put a horseshoe up there? What's up with the horseshoe? The horseshoe is an out that obviously Adrian Veidt is very aware of in the beginning of being on Europa.
Yeah.
So was that like a fail-safe that Dr. Manhattan put in there? Did they talk about it quickly? Something that he knew? I don't know. And does Lady Trieu think that Dr. Manhattan imprisoned Adrian Veidt, who could be her father, up on Europa, because she does have disdain.
Yeah.
She does not like Dr. Manhattan.
At all.
No.
There's one for the Vietnam thing. That's a very clear reason.
She's got that. She's got the thing where she's like, look at all these people. They really think they're talking to somebody.
Yeah, and I
And
think
if it is her father, like, how would she know that Veidt just willingly went there?
her and Veidt have
Security camera footage from Antarctica.
Maybe.
So her and Veidt have a very similar mission. No, like they want all of humanity to be united and to transfer into this utopia. That's the kind of the point of her building the Millennium Clock.
Yep.
It's like so I think they have a very similar mission. I think she obviously has a lot of characteristics very similar to Veidt. She has like this mega genius IQ. So that would all point to her being Veidt's daughter. I don't know how it would work out timeline wise, but it seems like it's very possible.
As we roll into predictions for next episode, I do want to note that there's something up with those Manhattan boosts too. I didn't think about it until last episode. Something with the Manhattan boosts.
Yeah.
Because they're collecting stories from people.
True.
Right? And they're all in certain locations across the world. I've seen some people say that the tower is going to, the clock tower is do some sort of like mind control thing.
I could
These
see
lights,
that,
like a satellite.
That's a possibility. By the way, we didn't mention last week, there's a lot of loud stuff going on. I thought Dr. Manhattan was about to bust through our fucking doors here. There's a lot of little teases for why Cal was Dr. Manhattan. One that we forgot to mention last week was him just dismissing the idea of God.
Yep.
Yeah,
Immediately.
Which was a huge clue. Because remember, that was
So
one of the things
quickly.
that made you go, what
That's
the
not
fuck?
real.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, why did they say this so specifically? Yeah.
I don't know I don't have any predictions. But I do think
No,
the
no
Manhattan
predictions.
boosts do mean something. And I'm starting to think that I think that Veidt might be calling out to Dr. Manhattan still.
I think that's a decent point. I think
Because I think he
you were
put
right
that
last
horseshoe
week.
failsafe in there.
I think you were right last week with everything you said about Looking Glass and Rorschach, him becoming the next Rorschach, him sneaking in with the Rorschach mask on. I think we were on the money on that one. I could be wrong, obviously, but other than that, no prediction.
We don't see much in the tease. We see Senator Keene is in a booth with no
Naked.
shirt on, about to become Dr. Manhattan. Like, I guess there's not much. We see a little bit of Agent Blake. So will we see Blake? Will we see Looking Glass? Like, what's True's connection?
I think that, so we know this is obviously going to be a self-contained story. I think what we're going to get is probably some sort of situation where Blake and Dr. Manhattan have to be united at some point. Like, that's for sure going to happen. And we know Blake is tied up there watching everything happen in the warehouse or JCPenney's, whatever. So I think we're going to get some sort of, like, clash between the pseudo Dr. Manhattan and Keene and fighting actual Dr. Manhattan. Someone's going to die for sure. But we're going to get, like, that same, like, kind of weird, ambiguous Watchmen ending we get with, like, everything.
Will Topher, the kid, become Dr. Manhattan? Like, is he going to transfer his powers to someone? It's very It's very open right now, and Lindelof claims he will give a satisfying ending. He's like, he'll leave something
trust him.
ambiguous,
I
which I'm
completely
fine
trust
with.
him at this point. After the 8 now episodes that he's put on, I have nothing but faith in
Maybe
him.
with justice.
9.
My only I'll give a firm prediction is that the first thing we see is the link between Will Reeves and Lady Trieu.
Yes.
I think it's the first thing we see because I don't think we're going to get the answer on Adrian Veidt until later on in the episode.
Oh, agreed.
But I think the first thing we see is now the continuation of how Will Reeves enacted everything, like what went down, how he went to Lady Trieu.
Yeah.
But otherwise, do the paper thing again. I don't know.
Who do you think dies?
I think Lori Blake dies. I do.
Who do you think dies?
Really?
I think Lori. It's going to be one last laugh for her because I think
And she's gonna laugh while everything burns or
It
something. It's gonna be
fulfills-
very
Yeah,
comedian.
you're right. You're right. Lori Blake is going to die.
That's there's a
Petey is going to write about her life and her
Lori
final
Blake
days
assumes
and
the
how
role
she
as the
helped.
comedian one more time.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think, and then Petey maybe, or maybe the ending is Looking Glass sends in his recollection of the events that went down, and that's the new Rorschach journal. Who knows?
I think Manhattan dies because I don't think they're gonna have him like.
I do think he does,
I don't
too,
think
yeah.
he's gonna ostracize himself again because he already tried it once and was like, fuck it, I'll come back. I don't think they would do it again.
Yeah.
I think he's gonna die.
How cool would this be if there's all these Rorschachs
Okay.
and they're fighting and they're all dying, and one of them looks up to other Rorschach, 7th Cavalry, and says, "Save me," and it's Looking Glass. He says no, just like the famous
Ooh,
looks
yeah,
up
yeah.
and says no.
That's
Looks up and
pretty
says
good.
no, yeah.
I
That's
can see
pretty
him doing
good.
it. They
Assumes
take
new
so many
Rorschach.
lines from the book.
pretty
Though they
fucking
did
good,
already
Jeff.
say they did already say in that one video. They did say look up and say no. So
Yeah.
it's been said.
Maybe that's a tease for later
This
on.
is-
Just making sure that people will get it
Yep.
later.
This is the most excited I've been for a TV show. Well, okay, Succession is pretty fucking amazing, but this is right up there. This is. I can't believe we have to wait 7 days for this shit.
I don't know what the
I
fuck's
know.
gonna happen in this finale. I have no idea.
This is
idea.
why releasing episodes 1 week at a time, while it does suck, this is why
no,
it
it's
works.
the best. It's the
But
best.
is
This,
why
the Mandalorian, the
it sucks to have
speculation.
to wait, but this is why it's also amazing because you can
Yeah.
talk about it, you can
I'm
speculate.
firmly on this side.
That's it. I got nothing else.
Nothing else
Don't
for
need
me.
to watch.
Make
Can't
sure to
wait.
hit the like button. Let us know below any theory you have. Just spew it out. Write an essay. I don't care. Let us know below in the comment section. If you're on YouTube, hit the like button, subscribe, and hit the bell icon. You can know when our next video is out as well. For Robbie, KenJac, Mandalorian, we're going to do that later on in the week. I'm Jeff Lowe. We will talk to you next time.